Welcome to CBN4's Primetime News. I am your presenter, Sheena Harry. A four-day inaugural Caribbean Waste-to-Energy Conference and Exposition in Grenada is paving the way for Caribbean countries to be fully committed to working towards a zero-waste economy. And Dominica was represented by Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Ivor Stevenson, and he says that Dominica has received funding for waste-to-energy projects. And the PS stated 2 pilot projects will receive funding from the Swedish government to convert waste to energy for Dominica. Stevenson added, Dominica will pilot the initiative and will form projects on a regional level. We were able to partner with the Swedish government, and they have committed themselves to provide both financial and technical support for the 2 pilot areas identified for Dominica. However, on a broader level, Stevenson informed the Swedish government, along with other institutions, have already identified 4 countries that will be piloted in various programs from waste to energy. The areas identified, according to the PS, are a pig farm southeast of the island and the National Abattoir. And the conference was held under the theme Energy Services from Waste. In other news, after a night of exciting performances by all 6 contestants, Tasia Flozak, 22 of Castle Comfort, who was sponsored by the Dominica National Petroleum Company Limited and Universal Martial Arts, has won the Miss Dominica 2016 title.
Miss Dominica 2016. Miss Dominica 2016.
And Flozak, who competed at Festival City last weekend, won the award for Best Performing Talent. Nawana Shillingford, 25 of Loubier, sponsored by Dominica National Petroleum Company Limited, emerged first runner-up, and she won the awards for Best Swimwear and Best in Swimwear. Brittany Farrow, 22 of Grand Bay, sponsored by Range Development Limited, placed second runner-up. She copped 4 awards: Best Costume, Best in Costume, Best Evening Wear, and Best in Evening Wear. Manel Christmas, 19 of Campbell, sponsored by Bayat, received the award for Best Response to Question. Judy Toussaint, 20 of Saint-Sauveur, sponsored by Harvey Law Group, won the Miss Amity and the Miss Photogenic awards. The other competitor was Abigail Shillingford, 19 of Goodwill, sponsored by the Kalinago Barana Ayute. Flozak was crowned by Miss Dominica 2015, Odessa Eli. Calypso lovers all over Dominica came out in exceedingly large numbers in anticipation of who will be crowned Calypso Monarch 2016.
2016! Who is it?
Dice!
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 In a fierce competition among the Calypsonians, Denison King Dice Joseph returned the title that he had lost in 2015 as Calypso Monarch.
First runner at your 2016 Calypso Monarch. It gives me great pleasure to tell you, you are the first runner. You are eight-time Calypso Monarch Dominica. Dice!
The reigning monarch dethroned Gregory Caressa Riviere at the Portersville Savannah last weekend with his songs Find Your Purpose and MyDominicaTradehouse.com.
To know that after 7 times and now 8 going to 8 times, the people still love their dicey, and the people still behind the dicey. So that means Dicey is saying something that he needs to continue to say. Dicey is doing something that he needs to continue to do. Give the people the enjoyment in Carnival and bring out some real issues and talk some good stuff. You know, that's it.
Webster the Web Marie emerged first runner-up with his songs The Tail Wagging the Dog and In the Name of Survival.
16, first runner-up at your 2016 Calypso Brother. It gives me great pleasure to tell you, you are the first runner-up.
The Bob came in second with My Radio Show and Mama Dominica, and Buple third with the all-time favorite Air Dominica and Three Witches in London.
Bob!
Bob is the second runner.
The other competitors were Sai, Janae, Observer, Shadow Flow, and Caressa. The Calypsonians were judged on lyrics, which carried 35 points, melody 35, rendition 20, and presentation 10. After a post-mortem was done over the weekend, production manager of Mass Camp, Stephen Astafan, says that this year's Mass Camp was deemed a success. The Mass Camp executive also saw a 75% overflow of their Calypsonians at the Grand Calypso Finals on Saturday.
The post-mortem on how Mass Camp went, which we did have Sunday night, we considered that it went very well. Seeing that we got 75% of the finalists in there. There's definitely room for improvement. We started on a slow note this year because they wasn't sure if they was going to have a Mass Camp. But after the first Mass Camp, you realize that Mass Camp was there.
Astafan also made mention of the effectiveness of this year's Mass Camp themes, including the Mardi Gras theme.
Definitely, you need to have a theme. You need to, and when we brought up the idea, because I consider ourselves a team, because you bring up an idea, they might say no, yes. It was how receptive the patrons were, especially to the glow night when they dressed in white, the red night when they dressed in red, when we did the Mardi Gras theme. And
Astafan said that moving forward, Mass Camp will certainly be sticking with theme nights and will continue to find ways to entice patrons. The Minister for Health, Dr. Kenneth Daru, says the region must fight the stress of the Zika virus head-on. And Daru explained that OECS heads agreed at a meeting that the grouping must deal with Zika virus at the highest political level. According to Daru, it is imperative that the region comes together to combat this disease.
Have to fight the Zika virus, because I'm sure you'll be aware of a number of travel advisories already being issued to a number, in other words, the CDC, which is the Center for Disease Control in the US, and we know the influence that our neighbors, our large and powerful neighbor to the north, has on the world. They've already been issuing travel advisories. Although, and I need to reiterate that, although the World Health Organization in its statement on Monday said that there is no need for travel advisories as we speak, as it pertains to the Zika virus. But you know,
Daru noted that each member of the cabinet of Dominica is well on board as it pertains to the fight of the Zika virus. After a thrilling season of entertainment at Mass Camp, organizers continue to demonstrate their commitment to aiding those in need. And the camp has committed some of the revenue earned to survivors of Tropical Storm Erica. Stephen Astafan, production manager of Mass Camp, says that the team has already met and had preliminary discussions on how and when those funds will be distributed.
The monies were put together and we have counted up the monies, but we as a Mass Camp also want to donate to that, so that's why we haven't declared yet what it is, but you can look on our Facebook page. We should be giving that soon.
In addition to the donations from the camp, another significant donation will be made by a member of the diaspora.
And there's also somebody out of Chicago that has raised some funds and in discussion with us and want to donate to the children at Tropical Storm Erica. So
And that was Stephen Astefan, production manager of Showdown Mass Camp. Mass Dominic 2016 had the benefit of not only a well-trained police force on the ground, but stationary policing agents as well. Proprietor of Platinum Security, Kimo Astefan, said the mission was a success thanks to his company's collaboration with Flow and the Dominica Police Force.
During the time of setup, we had a bus driver in the Granby bus stop, jumped in his bus, went north, turned around and broke an entry, you know. And that was a clear case where the police could have given him a ticket for $250 for breaking a no entry, you know. And we had the license plate number, so there's no way you could come and say that it wasn't me. So it was a great success.
Okay. He stated that although the public was not aware, the command center was quickly able to provide the police with information to put a quick end to many altercations and criminal activity.
In 2016, we saw the increase of cameras in more strategic locations. So each year, we build our database and we find out what areas are weaknesses, what are weaknesses, and what are our strengths. This year, we found that it was very successful because we saw incidents happening and the police were able to defuse the incidents in a short period of time.
And Astefan commended Flow for showing dedication to the project and spending over $20,000 just in cable. And he also said that they are committed to an expansion and to installing more cameras across the island in areas where there is high criminal activity. Stay tuned for more local headlines coming up next. Also making the top stories. Following the Calypso finals held over the weekend, patrons of the show have been complaining about the poor quality of the show, stating that the Calypso Association did not deliver. Specific remarks were made concerning the sound system used for the show, and the critics have blasted the sound engineers for their poor work, especially during the performance of newcomer Janae Jackson. Production manager of Mass Camp, Stephen Astefan, said that the problem did not exist only during Janae's performance.
For her, it started from the beginning of the show. In fact, I called one of the persons in the sound system and asked what's going on.
Astefan pointed out that one crucial pre-show detail was overlooked.
Tell me, Steve, you wouldn't believe what has happened. We haven't had a sound check. I say, are you serious? We've run Mass Camp and we've had sound check not only for the foreign artists but also for the Calypsonians. You know, it is so imperative to have a sound check, and I just find it unbelievable that the Dominica Calypso Association did not see it fitting to have a sound check.
Sound engineer Lyndon Lestrade, in a radio interview, reiterated Astefan's statements that the lack of a sound check prior to the show contributed to the quality, and he also pointed out that Janae's own inexperience on the big stage should be taken into consideration. Speculation about a possible sabotage has been circulating in Dominica about the Calypso finals this past weekend. During her performance, reigning Calypso queen Janae was victim to issues with the sound system. And in an exclusive interview with CBN4 News, she shared her sentiments.
I know for a fact that the sound system wasn't 100% on that night. But then for my performance, it just went totally wrong. But at least put me back on that level, even if I did get the best, but I shouldn't have gotten, quote-unquote, the worst, you understand? So I think that I will not outright say that it was sabotage, but my main issue is that I should have been called back to you know, give another chance.
Headed by her father, Ian Jackson, Janae's management team has written a letter to the Dominica Calypso Association seeking answers and possibly an apology.
He has come to me and say, okay, Janae, I apologize for this and this as yet, and I'm sorry that night. And at the end of the day, that's water under the bridge now. All I can do is move on from that. But I think that there's some justice or some answer should be given to me based on that question.
Janae believes that she is an advocate for all those who may want to venture into Calypso but are deterred by incidents like this. And here is a taste of what Janae sounded like on the night of the finals. And she assured her fans, though, that because of her love of the art form, she will most probably be back next season. And now that the carnival season has come to a close, Bishop of the Diocese of Roseau, Gabriel Malzé, is urging Catholic Christians to recognize the Lenten season, which officially begins today.
When we take this Lenten journey, which begins on Ash Wednesday, 40 days of Lent, it is like we being in the wilderness with Jesus, reflecting, looking at our lives, introspecting, so that we may come to a deeper consciousness of who we are and why we are here. We are here to prepare for salvation, to prepare for God, who is our end.
Bishop Malzé explained that the 40 days of Lent is an opportunity to reflect on the passion and death of Jesus Christ in order to prepare for the glorious experience of Easter. And the bishop also informed that Lent is also a time of preparation, renewal, as well as conversion. The Lenten season will be observed through various activities, including the Stations of the Cross, which reminds people of the journey that Christ took for our sake.
Parish will have its own Lenten retreat. You'll have the women's retreat, the men's retreat, the youth retreat. These are activities which help us to, to listen to the Word of God, to remind us of what we are. Then it will lead us to Palm Sunday. Now, Palm Sunday is the day, the triumphant entry of Jesus into Jerusalem. That is, he was going to Jerusalem to meet his death, really, basically. But, the whole theology behind Palm Sunday is like a celebration of the passion of Jesus. Whereas he entered triumphantly into Jerusalem, but he was going to his death, which was a kind of triumph, but a triumph that seemed negative. But at the end, we will see how he will rise gloriously. Of course, Holy Week.
Other activities include Holy Week, Chrism Mass, the Holy Thursday Mass, Good Friday celebrations, Glorious Saturday, and to climax the celebration of Easter. Bishop Malzé also stated, if we take Lent seriously, we are bound to come out differently. In more headlines, held at the traditional pre-Lenten time, it involves 2 days of jump up in the city and other villages, as well as parades, Calypso and Carnival Queen contests. And Dominican Carnival revelers on Monday and Tuesday paraded the streets of the city with vibrant costumes representing different groups. The China Friendship Group also participated in the Dominica Carnival for the second year. They also celebrated New Year's Day on Carnival Monday. On Carnival Tuesday, patrons came out in large numbers and lined the streets to watch the colorful parade. CBN4's team met up with a few familiar faces during the carnival.
Now, King Dice, you return your crown. Last year, you lost your crown to King Caressa. This year, you return your crown for the 8th time. How are you feeling being the 8th time monarch of Dominica, history in Dominica?
Well, it's a good achievement, motivation for me and those that are watching me, and young ones to come, so it's good. I just enjoying today, enjoying the rain. That's it.
Now, your 8th time being the monarch, what's in the making for King Dice?
Hey. Well, today, as I said earlier on, I was thinking of today, Maybe tomorrow you ask me a question, I might tell you that. But right now, we're just enjoying it. and having fun with it, you know.
NCCU, right now, we are the Live 6. We have recently amalgamated with the Cassibus Credit Union. We have the Rosa Credit Union, the Maro Credit Union, the La Salle Credit Union, and the St. David's Credit Union coming together. We are the largest financial institution on island, and we cater for everyone. So just come to any one of our branches.
Thank you very much, NCCU. Wow. That's it.
The curtains were brought down with a last lap in which the Booyah bands performed exceptionally. The Dominica Anguilla Relief Team, Jays Limited, and HarperCollins Publishers in the UK donated items worth approximately $100,000 to the Ministry of Education. These items were presented to Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education and Human Resource, Marcella Powell, at the Jay's Bookstore. The Dominica Anguilla Relief Team donated over $28,000 in school supplies. Jay's Limited donated 150 chairs, and HarperCollins Publishers donated 420 books comprising of dictionaries and workbooks. Every secondary school will receive $500, while each primary school will receive $300.
We need to be grateful to these persons, Dominicans overseas, who, although they are not in Dominica, their heart is still in Dominica. I felt that hear people making contributions, and I thought that Jays Limited, resident in Dominica, also need to make a contribution. And so we will be donating 150 chairs, which we hope will help in refurbishing of some of the schools that have been affected.
Meanwhile, Minister for Education Peter Saint-Jean expressed his gratitude for the donations to the Ministry of Education.
Will indeed go a long way towards assisting our schools following the passage of Tropical Storm Erica. We are indeed privileged to receive these monies from an Anguillan based group, the Nature Islanders Club, who were able to raise significant sums of money in the wake of Tropical Storm Erica.
Saint-Jean stated that this presentation serves as an indication to children that these organizations are interested in the education and success of students here in Dominica. The Minister for Education also urged schools on the island to use the monies to uplift the school environment or generally improve students' learning experiences. During the Carnival season, General Secretary of the Commonwealth, Baroness Patricia Scotland, led a 3-person delegation to Dominica on what has been termed a scoping mission or study, with the aim of assisting Dominica with its rebuilding efforts post-Erica. At the end of the visit, the Ministry for Foreign Affairs hosted a press conference to allow for the government and Baroness Scotland and her team to provide some insight into the visit. Scotland said that the vision for Dominica is to be a true nature island.
As you will know, Dominica has decided rightly to build back and to build back better, as the Minister has said. And in order to do that, we have been looking very carefully and listening very closely to what we are being told by Dominicans themselves as to what they want. And it's clear that the vision for Dominica is for Dominica to be a true nature island.
Patricia Scotland gave a brief idea of her task and approach to the rebuilding efforts. The Commonwealth Secretary-General said that in order to do all these things, we need the greatest expertise that we can find. Assisting the Baroness on her quest to rebuilding Dominica is John McAsland, a world-renowned consultant who has done tremendous amounts of work across the world, including Haiti. God's Family House of Worship in Portsmouth is hosting Camp Meeting 2016, The Outpouring, with a series of well-known guest speakers. The church has welcomed Reverend Dr. Jamal Harrison Bryant of the Empowerment Temple Church in Baltimore, Maryland, a dynamic speaker who has spent years working with young people in his community.
This pastor called, and after watching me for years on Christian television, both on TBN and the Word Network, said, this guy's never been to our beautiful island. I have to admit, when the invitation first came, I thought I was going to the Dominican Republic, and then I repented when I found out this is really where God lives. So I'm glad to be at the original.
Dr. Bryant's message will revolve around sacrifice as the Lenten season begins. And that wraps up our news for this evening on CBN4's Primetime Package. Thanks for watching.